1-20. The value of a decimal becomes clearer when the place value is spoken or written as the number it names. For example, the number 0.1 makes more sense if it's read as 1/10 rather than 0.1. In the directions for A, it says, write the following numbers in words so that the place value can be identified. So again, the directions, we need to write the numbers in words so that the place value can be identified. So before I do any of it, I would like to create my place value chart. So make sure you're also doing that on your paper, and also pause the video or rewind so that you could do the same thing or learn ahead of me. So in my place value chart, I'm gonna draw a line to separate, like, all the numbers on the left side are the whole numbers, and all the numbers on the right side of the decimal point, we call them parts. Now each number has its own place, so we call these place value. So for example, the first place value, like, it's the place of the ones, so we call it the ones. So go ahead and do that on your paper. Think of, like, we use it for $1 or one all the way through 9. So the second place value we have, if we have 10 ones, we could also call it 1/10. So this is the place of the tens. So think of 2 tens, it means 20. And then the pattern continues. If you already know what to write, go ahead and write ahead of me. So this is the place of the hundreds. So hundreds, some $100 bills, and so on. Now, similarly, yet is parts when I go on the other side of the decimal. So the decimal is where it separates again. Then we have parts, so it's 1/10. So I can spell it the same as the word 10, but then you want to use THS, so tenths. So right here, THS. So the next part, I hope you're already ahead of me, or pause again if I'm going too fast, is the place of the hundreds. So it will be 1 out of 100. These are like cents, 1 penny. So this is reserved to the hundreds. THS. So like 1 out of 100, and so on. So if you continue, the next place value will be called thousandths. So in these examples, we do have that, and go ahead and write it yourself as well. So when I go and see this number given to me, I'm gonna write it in where my place value is, or based on the decimal. So I'm gonna write the 0 here and the 4 here. So in order to write it in words, I would say 4 and use the words above that column. So I'm gonna say this is called 4, and then tenths. THS, tenths. Again, the THS means it's 4 parts out of 10. The fraction value will be 4/10. Again, in the directions, we are supposed to write as in words, but you could technically write that fraction. And if you do say the fraction out loud, that's how we actually say it, 4/10, or 4 divided by 10. Go ahead and try, pause the video and try the next one on your own. And I'm going to, this one, try on your own as well. Okay, for the second number, I'm going to put the 1 in the place of the ones, and then 3 in the place of the tenths. So how would I say it? So remember, to say it with the place value, I need to actually say the number 13. So I see the number 13, and then So after seeing 13, I wrote 13, and then I have to again say the word in the place value it belongs. So it stops at the tenths place, so I'm having 13 tenths, THS. And then if I was gonna write it as a fraction, it'd be 13 over 10, or 13 tenths. So if you try the other one on your own, so you would have 56, so write the number 56, and then it would have ended up in the place of the hundredths, so you would write 56 hundredths. So I'm not writing it on the video, I would like you to write it on your own. So pause the video and try the other one on your own as well, the last one right here. So for the last number, I've already put it in the place value. So we have the number 2008. So write the number 2008 in words, and then the ending of what you need to say, it ends in the thousandths place. So the number 2008, and then thousandths. Okay, check your words with me. So I wrote 2008 thousandths. So the THS at the end was very important to show its parts. But really, what is the whole number for that? So if you look at the place value, we barely have like $2. Think of it, the whole number is 2. But it sounds like we have a lot, 2008 thousandths. In letter B, go ahead and try on your own. So it says to reverse your thinking. So reverse your thinking, write the decimals that go with the following words. So use the chart on your paper or in this video, and now try it on your own. Okay, so what I did here is I wrote the number 35 because that's what I see first, and then I'm noticing THS, hundredths. So according to my chart, I have to have 2 place values on the right side of the decimal, and this is exactly what I have, 2 place values. So the decimal will be right in front of the 3, and I could or could not write the 0 in front. So the actual number is 0.35, or no whole number, just 0, but it's truly 35 hundredths. It's also easier for me specifically if I would write that as a fraction first. So 35, and then it's divided by hundredths. And the reason again I'm dividing is because of the parts THS. So now I can really see, oh yeah, it is the same thing. Again, pause the video and try the other ones on your own, or if you've already tried it, just check your answer with me right now. So the word and is a word that separates the whole with the part. So when we see it, I know that the number in front is a whole number, so 3. I see the word and, so I put a decimal, and then so 2 tenths, so tenths, THS again, so it's 1 place value, so I'm going to write it over here. Now, I introduced the word and, so I'm going to go up there and try to write the 13 tenths using the word and. So I could have technically, so I'm going back, you could also write 1, so that's the 1 whole number. The word and separates, or the decimal place, and then I can write 3, and then I have to say tenths, 3 tenths, THS. Now I couldn't use the and for the upper one, or you could say 0 whole numbers and 4 tenths for this one as well. Now, so with that logic, let's try to change this number. So we wrote 2008 thousandths, but what we could actually make it more simple and say 2, and then I say and, so that's the decimal place, and now I have 8, in the place of the thousands. So this is actually a bit easier to say. So 2 and 8, 8 thousands. So it's just which number are you going to say and how. It's based on the place value chart. So either or. Now the last one in letter B says 6 and then hundredths, THS. There's no word N. So if I was going to write a fraction, it's 6 over 100. Or the number 6 is in the second place value after the decimal point. So there's my final number for that. So 6 in the place of hundreds, or 6 out of 100. I would actually write the previous one. I forgot to write as a fraction. Again, it's not required, but I like to write. So 3 and 2/10, I could write it as 32 over 10 as well, if I wanted to. Again, that's not required. So I hope you use the chart, the place value, so that you review how to write and say the decimals, or they're also called the rational numbers.